Before the story begins, take a second and subscribe because what unfolded that night shocked millions of viewers, and the moment you're about to hear about changed the atmosphere of an entire awards ceremony in a way nobody expected. The red carpet outside the Grand Theater glittered with cameras flashing like a storm of light across the evening sky. Celebrities arrived one after another, waving to fans and reporters, while the entertainment world watched closely. Among the stars stepping onto the carpet was Dylan Wang, calm and confident, dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit. Not far behind him, another star appeared whose name had quietly been circulating in rumors for months. Tan Songyun smiled warmly as photographers called her name. Her reputation in the industry had always been that of a hardworking actress who stayed away from drama. Yet behind the glamorous image, whispers had begun spreading about strange obstacles that had appeared throughout her recent projects. Contracts mysteriously delayed, roles suddenly reassigned, meetings that ended without explanation. Most people assumed it was just the unpredictable nature of the entertainment world. But that night, everything was about to change. Inside the grand hall, the ceremony began like any other prestigious event. Music filled the room as producers, directors, and actors took their seats beneath enormous chandeliers. Cameras moved slowly across the audience, capturing familiar faces smiling politely, while millions of viewers around the world watched from home. Tan Songyun sat quietly at her table near the center of the room. Her expression was calm, yet thoughtful, as if she was trying to enjoy the evening while carrying the weight of a difficult year. Across the room, Dylan Wang sat with his team. He listened as award categories were announced and applauded politely for the winners. But several observers later said there was something unusual about his focus that night. He seemed to be waiting. Hours into the ceremony, the moment finally arrived. The presenter stepped onto the stage holding a golden envelope. The category was one of the biggest awards of the night. The audience grew quiet. Cameras zoomed in across the hall, capturing every reaction. The presenter smiled and announced the winner, Dylan Wang. Applause exploded across the room as he stood and walked toward the stage. Cameras followed every step while the audience clapped enthusiastically. When he reached the podium, he accepted the trophy and paused for a moment as the applause slowly faded. Everyone expected a standard thank you speech. But what happened next changed the entire atmosphere of the night. Dylan looked across the audience calmly. Then he spoke in a steady voice that carried through the hall and into millions of living rooms watching the broadcast. He said that while awards celebrate talent, they should also protect fairness. He explained that over the past year, he had witnessed something troubling behind the scenes of the industry. The room grew quiet. He continued by saying that a respected colleague had faced repeated obstacles that did not appear accidental. Opportunities disappeared at the last minute. Contracts were altered without explanation. Meetings ended with vague excuses. Then he said the name that made the audience sit up in shock. Tan Songyun. Cameras immediately turned toward her table. Tan Songyun looked stunned but composed as the room filled with whispers. Dylan Wang continued speaking carefully. He said he had recently seen documents that suggested certain contracts connected to her projects had been quietly modified. He said conversations with insiders revealed a pattern of professional interference designed to block her from major opportunities. The audience sat frozen. The ceremony that had begun as a glamorous celebration now felt like something completely different. Dylan explained that he could not remain silent after discovering the situation. He said that success in the industry should be determined by talent, dedication, and respect, not hidden games played behind closed doors. The words echoed through the hall as people exchanged shocked glances. Tan Songyun watched the stage quietly. Her expression showed a mixture of disbelief and gratitude, as if she had not expected anyone to speak publicly about the obstacles she had faced. Some industry veterans shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Cameras captured their reactions as viewers online began flooding social media with messages asking what exactly was happening. Dylan Wang did not accuse specific individuals. Instead, he spoke about transparency, fairness, and the responsibility of artists to support one another when something unjust occurs. He ended his speech by turning toward Tan Songyun and saying that the industry needed to protect talent like hers rather than undermine it. For a moment, the room remained silent. Then applause slowly began to rise across the audience. What started as a few claps grew into a powerful wave of support echoing through the hall. Tan Songyun stood quietly and bowed her head slightly in appreciation. The cameras captured the moment as viewers around the world realized they were witnessing something rare. An award acceptance speech had transformed into a public defense of integrity. After the broadcast ended, the story spread instantly across the internet. Clips of Dylan Wang speaking on stage circulated everywhere. Fans praised his courage while commentators debated the deeper meaning of his words. Industry insiders began discussing the documents he referenced. Some claimed they had heard similar rumors about certain production deals. Others said the speech might trigger long overdue conversations about fairness in casting and contracts. Meanwhile, Tan Songyun released a short message the following day thanking everyone for their support. She did not confirm specific allegations, but she expressed gratitude toward colleagues who believed in fairness and respect. The story continued dominating headlines for days. Analysts debated whether Dylan Wang had risked his own career by speaking so openly or whether his decision would inspire others to address hidden issues in the entertainment world. One thing was certain. That night at the awards ceremony had turned into one of the most talked-about moments in recent entertainment history. A simple acceptance speech had become a spark that exposed questions nobody expected to hear on a live stage. And as more people began examining the rumors surrounding Tan Songyun's career challenges, many wondered whether the truth behind those mysterious contract changes would eventually come fully into the light. If you want to know what insiders claim happened behind the scenes immediately after the cameras stopped rolling, and why several powerful figures in the industry suddenly held emergency meetings that same night, make sure you stay with this channel because the next chapter of this story may reveal even more surprising details. The applause inside the hall slowly faded, but the tension Dylan Wang created with his words refused to disappear. Guests at the tables leaned closer to each other, whispering quietly while cameras continued scanning the room. What was supposed to be a glamorous celebration had suddenly become the center of an unexpected controversy. Tan Songyun sat very still for a moment after the speech. Those sitting near her later said she looked overwhelmed, not with anger, but with the realization that something she had silently endured had just been spoken aloud in front of millions of viewers. Meanwhile, Dylan Wang stepped away from the podium and returned to his seat. His expression remained calm, but people around him could sense the seriousness of what had just happened. Several producers and executives in the audience exchanged uneasy glances, clearly aware that the speech had opened a conversation the industry rarely allowed on a public stage. Then something unexpected happened. Tan Songyun slowly stood up from her seat. The audience noticed immediately. Conversation stopped as cameras quickly shifted toward her. She didn't rush to the stage or make a dramatic gesture. Instead, she simply bowed slightly in Dylan Wang's direction, a quiet moment of gratitude that spoke louder than any speech. The crowd erupted into another wave of applause. But behind the applause, insiders say several powerful figures left the hall moments later, already making urgent phone calls. Because what Dylan Wang had revealed might not just be a speech. It might be the beginning of an investigation that could expose far more than anyone at that awards ceremony expected.